Sorry about that, an interruption. Legal jargon, you know, a lot of people misunderstand that. There's lots of specific words that can be very confusing. What does that mean? What does that mean? And there's a lot of translation needed for that. Frequently asked questions. Sorry, I had to think then, what did the F stand for? See, there you go, jargon. I couldn't remember what the F stood for. But frequently asked questions. How are you responding to them? So deaf customers are interested, they want to know more questions, they want to ask more questions. How can you respond to that? Through sign language, or bringing in an interpreter, or writing the information down? Is that enough? So we need to think about that. We've taken some information from a website, we've had permission for this, so I'll just show you what the information is. So this is an example that we've taken. So it says, our showrooms stock a wide range of products from small daily living aids through to stair lifts and scooters, and our expert customer service advisors are always on hand to provide assistance and advice. We service a wide area and have a showroom in Stratford upon Avon. If you would like to view any of our products, or even take a scooter or electric wheelchair for a test drive, feel free to drop into our showrooms. In addition to sales, we offer an on-site service facility and can supply spares and batteries for many scooters and power chairs. Okay, so you can see that's a lot of written information, a lot of information there. Is it clear? I'm not sure, but maybe we'll translate it. This deaf may perceive this in this way, and this is what meaning they may take from this. Wide, the word wide. Is it, how wide? So what's the context? So it needs to be clear, and you might need to clarify that. AIDS. AIDS, is that support? AIDS linked to what? It's not clear. Stair lifts, is that a lift, or how do you lift someone? That might not be clear, they might not get that concept. The place, what about that place? Why are we talking about that place? What's happening there? It might not be clear. Dropping, is it physically dropping something? Dropping what? Do I drop in? It can be confusing. The information you provide, how can that impact your information that you give to your deaf customers? It means if you don't have any clear information or specific information, you could lose new customers. So they might be keen to join your service, but because there's no clear information, it could be a risk of losing customers. It means deaf people, if they want information, they want more details, and you can't give it to them, there's a barrier, it will become a negative reputation. People might say, oh, best not go to them, they don't give us any information, better go to another service. Income. So it means if you can give deaf people access to information, they'll be like, great, we'll go to that service. So it's positive for your business, you're going to gain profit, as well as helping them. So your business, your companies, or companies you know of, are you thinking, are they accessible to deaf people? No, they're not. Or which companies need support with this to improve their access? How does the company communicate with deaf customers? So if you know of someone that needs to improve, how could they improve? How could they improve positive experience for deaf customers, improve the access, so they can be confident they can go to them? How would a deaf customer know about your service, or how do you advertise that we're here to welcome deaf customers? How are you going to hook them in, should I say? How would you do that? That's a selling point to your deaf customers. So remember how many deaf people I said at the beginning, how many there are, a lot. It's easy to lose them because you can't see, they're not always considered. So we need to remember that aim. So it could mean that companies out there, their written information or information online, whatever it is that suitable for deaf customers? I'm not sure. So we need to think about that. We need to help find a solution. How can we do that? Maybe the ways on the website, we can use signed videos to give out information. So we have different ways round resolving that. A few solutions. We'll give you a few solutions of what you can do. So it's best someone to get an expert in, perhaps, someone who knows about deaf needs, or it depends on your service really, or or which services you feel you should consider having a translation for a deaf customer. Means you could use someone to consultate. Someone could advise you on the different changes you could make and the advice they could give you. Maybe my service isn't suitable and this is what I could do to improve that. So then you learn for future, so you can brush up in future. So clear translation from English into BSL. It could be someone coming in, a person, to go through the paperwork with you, or maybe, I said before, it could be legal documents or letters or information on your website or packs that you send out. There's many options. Maybe you could book a translator to come in and they will go through it with you, or they can film it beforehand. Maybe if it's just general information, they can provide the same resources for the deaf customers. But if it's specific for one customer, maybe it might be better to bring someone in and that person can ask questions and you can clarify things for them. The NRCPD, the National Register of Communication Professionals for deaf people, deaf-blind people, they have their own website. And they have a list of registered professionals, interpreters, BSL interpreters who are qualified, trained, but also translators and trainee translators. They have a badge. You might see some around where they have a yellow badge, which means they're qualified. If it's purple, it means they're a trainee or on a training course learning how to become a qualified professional. It means they have insurance and they're covered. Or if there's an issue, they're covered with insurance. So that's why it's important to book approved professionals, interpreters or translators. That's very important. You could ask someone to come in to design a course to suit the company, to provide deaf awareness training or sign language teaching. There's a lot out there. We have deaf people around the country who are qualified. Ask them to come to your company and provide. It's not just one person. You could ask them, they could contact another trainer, they could train locally. It's the same actually. Okay. I want to give you an example, show you an example. So do you remember earlier that script that I showed you of all those words? So we've given you a translation example. I hope it works. Oh, it's a bit fast, not working. Is there any technical support anywhere? Whoever the person is involved. Oh, anyway. I don't look like that when I sign. There's a technical issue. But that's an example of a translation of the text that we've given you before. So it means you can add subtitles, so for hard of hearing people who like to read and watch BSL at the same time. BSL translation, there are other companies out there nationally, it's not just one company that offer support in translation. Again, go back to NRCPD's website, they'll give you a list of contacts that you can contact and ask them to support you with translation. What this means for your business. So if you know businesses that need to improve their access for deaf people, you get a good reputation, you will grow, you'll be successful, your customers will be satisfied. So you're potentially getting customers through word of mouth, and that news is spreading. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you for coming. We are at N6002 BSL courses, so we can have any information, or if you've got any questions, please come and see us, or we can answer questions now, or if you think later you have a question, please come and visit us. Okay, thank you. Thank you.